Thank you, Jason. Well, I'm so excited to kick this conversation off. I think I know all of you, but I'm Gail Breslow. I'm the Executive Director of the Clubhouse Network. And I want to welcome all of you and thank you so much for making the time to be here. As Jason just said, we're recording this, so if you have colleagues who couldn't make it today, feel free to send them the link afterwards, which we'll post in Clubhouse Connect. Or if you want to come back and watch it again, go for it. It's all there for you. Before we dive into some of the details of the new village and creating accounts and all of that, I just want to say a few things about the Clubhouse Village as a whole. Beginning with some history. I mean, I see some people on this call who have been part of this history, and this will be a little bit of a walk down, memory lane for them. But the first version of the Clubhouse Village actually launched in 1998, which means it launched before Facebook. I mean, it was more like around the era of MySpace, if you remember MySpace. Some of you may be too young to remember MySpace, but it was really very innovative back in the day as a place where young people at clubhouses around the country and around the world could post their projects and share their excitement for what others were doing, and reach out to each other to collaborate or just to say hello or hola or shalom to each other. And it really gave young people a sense of the global community that the Clubhouse really was, which it is even more so today than it was back then. I pulled up some statistics that I thought would be kind of fun. Let's see, we had in 2019, there were 14,556 village members in 2019. There were visits from the United States and the Philippines and Colombia and Jordan and Panama, New Zealand, Costa Rica, South Africa, Mexico, and more. There were in the year 2019, 9,880 unique site visits, and people were spending roughly 8.5 minutes on the village each time they logged in and interacted with it. And so, and that was already at a point when the village was beginning to kind of fail, or not fail, to weaken. Every day, I don't know, I can't speak for Jason, but every day when I would log in and it would work, I would think, oh my gosh, this is a miracle, because it was on its last legs. And so I'm really excited that we have been able to develop a new village. I want to pay homage in particular to Chris Garrity from the MIT Media Lab, who kept that old village going for so many years, and then also to Jason, who I'm sure did a lot of magic behind the scenes to keep it up and running. And then around the new village that we've been able to develop, a big shout out to Best Buy, who gave us a capital grant to support the development, and gave us the funding to hire some outside developers. And then to Jason and Stephanie Rosario Rodriguez and others from the network who've been supporting the development, and many of you who served as beta testers, and to all of you, because the village is only going to be as good and as successful as the use that we put to it to. So it's going to be up to all of us now that this investment has been made, and we will continue to make investment because it's going to need ongoing love and care. But for us to get a return on the investment will come from all of you being excited about the village, being excited to share it with your youth and to get them on it, and really experiencing what it means to be, part of a global network of Clubhouse youth worldwide, all of whom share these common interests and are engaging in the same kind of way. So big shout out to everyone who has made this day possible, and a big shout out to all of you who are going to help us take the village on its next journey. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jason to really take us through the next 45 minutes or so as we look at some of the specifics about how to get the most out of the village for yourself and your members.
Great, thank you so much, Gail. Real quick introduction, I'm Jason Peterson. I'm the technology manager with the Clubhouse Network, and I was the project lead on the development of this new version of the village. And with me, I have Steph.
Hi, everyone. Stephanie Rosario-Rodriguez. I am the knowledge manager here at the Clubhouse. I'm also the geographic liaison for clubhouses in the Midwest of the United States, Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. It's good to be here. So I'm going to be doing a lot of resource development and posting and sharing within the village. So I'm really excited to share more about that later today. So yeah, it's great having you here. I'm really excited to share this. This has been in the works for, as Gail mentioned, for a long time. So it's going to be really great. And Jason's actually going to go in and show us. You'll be able to see what it is that we've been doing, and we'll also talk more of the future of what it is that we're diving into. Just I don't know if you want to do a screen share, but for staff, for yourself, the most important things that we're going to cover today are really the key roles for you within the village. So that is going to cover a number of things. It's going to cover account creation, getting your youth members set up in there, what to do with flagged content. Something gets flagged, do you take down? How do you handle that? How to utilize the sign-in system. This has been something that's been in the works for some time. In addition to other ways that you can integrate this into the day-to-day programming of your clubhouse. And yeah, we'll share projects and discussions and other ways that you and your clubhouse can kind of lead by example. So thank you for that. All right, so here we're in it. We're in this, I don't want to call it the new village, but it's its own special thing in its own right outside of the former village. So here on the left-hand side, you're going to see a bunch of different things. So one of the best things about this right now, I think, is that it's both desktop and mobile friendly. So you'll be able to open this on your phone. At the top, you'll see a few different tabs of projects, discussions, activities. And those all default to all clubhouses. And then on the left-hand side, you have the menu and all these options. So we're going to go over not just how to create a project and start a discussion and what the difference between those two are, but also looking at resources that are available, and also kind of honing in on work that your specific clubhouses has done. So we'll have so much time to talk about that. For at the default page, the top button, it defaults to all clubhouses, your clubhouses, and you specifically, the work that you've done. And this homepage, it's going to be, like I said, everything. You'll also, Jason, I think this is actually the flagship view. So all of you will have admin levels. So there will be some additional tabs and other things that you have access to, things like adding photos to your clubhouse profile, or changing your time zones to be more specific. So this right here that Jason is showing is the flagship clubhouse, Best Buy Teen Tech Center, kind of their clubhouse homepage. So this is the staff members that are involved. You can put your coordinator, your assistant coordinator, whoever, C2C facilitator, and the members appear over here. And then down, you'll see all the projects posted within your clubhouse. Look at all that excitement. You'll also have the ability to look at flagged content. So what happens if someone flags something? How do you unpublish it? Nothing's been flagged, which is great. Jason will talk a little bit more about what to do in that. And then most importantly, how to add users. You are going to be the one responsible to get your youth set up in the space. And Jason, I think now is a good time to kind of hand that off to you, because I think it's a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, thank you, Steph. So I want to go over account creation first. And that happens here in the Your Clubhouse section. So you would hit Your Clubhouse at the top of the page. And then in these tabs a little further down the page, the last tab is Add a User. So this is how you would add any type of user to your Clubhouse. You're able to add, you're able to create not only accounts for members, but for other staff as well. So if you're noticing within your Clubhouse profile that not all of your colleagues have Village accounts, that's something that you're very quickly able to remedy. You're able to create a staff account for them. So you can create member accounts. Youth leader accounts are just like member accounts, but they have some additional capabilities, such as being able to verify projects. Alumni are for those 19 years of age or over who have aged out of the Clubhouse, so former Clubhouse members. Mentors, any mentors who work in your Clubhouse space, and then of course staff. So I'm going to real quick just run through the process for creating a member, since that's what you'll be doing most often. So we'll create just a test member named Sally Member. Very creative. We need, for all member accounts, you have to fill in a birth date for that member. And it's not public information. It's not information that displays anywhere on the Village. It's just something that we need as part of determining when a member becomes an alumni. So when somebody becomes 19 years of age or over, their member account automatically converts to an alumni account. The way we're able to determine that is with this birth date field. I'm just going to plug in a quick date here, January 1st, 2006. And then every user account needs a user login. And if you look just below the field, we have a convention that we're asking everyone to follow as best as you can. And that's to use the first letter of the first name followed by the full last name. So for example, John Smith would be J Smith. And in this case, Sally Member would be S Member. All user logins within the Village have to be unique. In the event that you use a user login that's already taken, once you hit the save button, you'll receive an error letting you know that that name is already taken. If you're following this convention and it's taken, you might fall back to using a person's full first name followed by their full last name. Something to keep in mind is that the user logins can't be changed once they're set. This was the same with the previous iteration of the Village. It's still the same here in this version of the Village. And one other thing to keep in mind is that the user login ends up being part of the URL for somebody's public portfolio. So I'll be going over public portfolios in a little bit. But that's something that a Clubhouse member might be sharing with a prospective employer or with a school. So, you know, I'm sure that a lot of members left to their own devices might pick a user login that is not their name, that's not something professional. When it comes time to sharing their user profiles, they might wish that they just had a user profile that had their name. So we recommend following this convention, and we appreciate it. Thank you. In the last section, you have two options in terms of setting up a member account. You can choose to have an email address attached to the account or not have an email address attached to the account. We recognize that not all young people have personal email addresses, so we've set it up so that it works with or without. In the event that you were not going to enter an email address for somebody, you would have to set their password for them. So you would fill out this password field and then click Add New User. And then just make sure before you leave this page that you write down the user login and the password so that you can hand it off to the member. You wouldn't want to leave this page and forget, what password did I type? But if you have an email address for the member, and if they do, that would be, I think, the preferred way to create a member account. You would want to check this checkbox under user password setup. You would say, send the new user a password setup email. And if you check that checkbox, you see the password field disappeared. And all you have to do is enter an email address. And just like when I created all of your accounts, you received an email letting you know that your account has been created and here's a link for setting your password. That's what will happen in this case. As soon as you click add a new user, that person will get an email and then they can set their own password. One thing to keep in mind, and you probably saw this when you received your emails, is that those links do expire. So there's a note there in the email that just lets you know that that password reset link expires 24 hours after the email has been sent. So you want to make sure that your members follow that link within 24 hours, ideally. If they don't, it's not a big deal. All they would have to do is go to clubhousevillage.org, click forgot password, and then enter either their user login or their email, and that'll generate a new email with a new link that's good for another 24 hours. And with that, I'll take a quick break for questions. Any questions about account creation?
Quick question.
Sure.
If we don't have a current email address for a member, we can create an account without an email attached to it. Isn't that correct?
That's correct, yes. So you would just not check this checkbox, and then you would set a password for them. And then you just leave the email field blank.
Jason, quick question. To Cassandra's point about school addresses expiring after a certain amount of time, is it possible to go in and change that email address later?
Yes, it is. So let me quick show you. So let me just pick a member here at the flagship. I'm going to go into that member's profile. And so as an administrator for your Clubhouse, any of your members, if you click into their profile, you have an option here. It's the last option in this series of tabs, and it says Edit Profile. And if you click Edit Profile, you're able to update all sorts of information. You can update their name. This is where you would update their email address. What else? If the account doesn't have an email address and they're not able to reset their own password, this is where you would reset their password for them. So you can come here, you can either type in a new password or you can generate a password. Although, to be warned, if you click generate password and then click show password so you can see it, it creates a very long, very strong password. So not something that you're able to easily remember. But it is very secure. And then one other thing, role. So if you were going to, promote, so to speak, somebody from a member to a youth leader, this is where you would do it. So you're able to change their role from a member to a youth leader here. And one more quick thing, achievements. So let me quick go to my profile here. So achievements are badges. This is what we call badges within the Clubhouse Village. And we have a handful of achievements that we've created for the launch of the site, although like many things in the village, it's a work in progress. So our intention is to continue to create new achievements that we can award to our members. So if I click Edit Profile and quick look at this one, we have a handful of achievements. So we have an early adopter badge for everyone who helped us out prior to the launch. Reach winner, so anyone who's a Reach Media Festival winner. Teen Summit participant. A mentor, and a C2C Pathways graduate. So if you are going to assign an achievement to a member, you would do that right here. So you would just click or deselect one of the achievements, click Save, and then you'll see at the top of the page the achievements. And I see one more question here. Tamara, is there a place in the profile for preferred pronoun? We don't currently have a field for preferred pronoun, but that is a good idea. Let me quick add that as a note. All right, thank you. Any other questions about account creation or editing an account? Okay, so let's move on to flagged content. So within the village, and this, just to preface this, it's not something that has come up very often in previous iterations of the village. This is not something that tends to be a problem within the network, but it is something that can potentially come up at any time, and that's somebody posting objectionable content or content that does not meet our standards here in the network. So the way that we handle that is we have a process that involves flagging the content and then unpublishing it. And let me go into all of those steps. So I'm going to use as an example here, let me pick a flagship project. And I'm going to pick this project here from my colleague Tamara. So if you go into a project, you see here at the top a handful of buttons. You can bookmark a project to save it for reference, for quick reference for later. You can give kudos to a project. This is our form of likes. You can verify a project if you are a staff person or a youth leader, or you can flag a project. And anybody within the village, regardless of their role, can flag a project. So members can flag projects as well as staff. So if you ever come across something in the village that, it is an issue, or you just want to raise for further review, you would click the flag button here. Now, as a staff person, you can see the button switched over to a clear flag button. So in the event that you clicked it by accident, or you've already reviewed it, need to quick clear it, you are able to clear the flag. That's one difference between a staff account and a member account. Members are able to flag projects, but they are not able to clear the flags. That's just the staff ability. But now that we've flagged this project, let me show you what happens. So that project is a project from a flagship Clubhouse member. Every staff person in the flagship Clubhouse has now received a notification letting them know that one of their members' projects has been flagged. And that is here on the left-hand side, a few options down. I'm going to click Notifications. So here we can see that this test account, Johnny Flagship, marked content name of the project as flagged, and then a quick link here to manage your Clubhouse's flag content. I'll click that in just a moment, but while we're here, you have a few options when it comes to notifications. You can either click the little eyeball icon to just mark that notification as read, or if it's not a notification that's relevant for you, or you've already dealt with it, you just want to get rid of it, you click the other little X icon to delete the notification. But in this case, let's go ahead and click this link, manage your Clubhouse's flag content. And the way that you would get here if you didn't have that, quick reference link is you would just go up to your Clubhouse, and then one of the tabs here, just next to add user, is flag content. So that would be another way to get here. So we can see here we have one project that's been flagged. Here's the title, who made it, and who reported it. So you can click into the project to review it. And if you agree, if you think that there's objectionable content in here that needs to be dealt with, the next step would be unpublishing the post. So let me show you what happens there. If you unpublish a post, I'm going to go back to the project feed real quick and show you, at least from a staff perspective, what this looks like. I'm going to scroll down to where that project was. And okay, actually, I'm sorry. So it doesn't appear here now. I'm going to go back. So as a staff person, that project is now hidden from the village. That's the first step. We want to make sure that if there's anything objectionable in the village, we want it to no longer be public. We just need to hide it while it's being dealt with. So by unpublishing the post, you've now hidden it. Nobody else can see that it's there. So the next step is to take this, the coordinator, assistant coordinator should then go to the member and let them know, hey, this project that you created was flagged for X, Y, and Z reasons. We would love to see you make these changes, and if you do, we can republish your project. So at that point, the member would make the necessary changes, and then once you confirm that that's done, you would come back here, and I'm actually seeing this might be a bug because it's still showing unpublished post here. Actually, let me refresh the page, just make sure. Nope. Okay, there we go. So at that point, once it's been dealt with, we can make the project public again. I'm going to publish the post. And then you can clear the flag. So that would be the last step here. I'm going to clear the flag. And if I refresh this page, we'll see that that content is no longer flagged. The notification, once you clear the flag, the notification is deleted automatically. And if I go back to the project feed here, we'll see that the project is live again. So that is the process start to finish for dealing with flagged content. Any questions about any of that? It's pretty straightforward, I hope. Okay. Well, let's move on to the sign-in system. So sign-in system is a functionality that we've built into the village, and let me show you where those settings are. Again, I'm going to go up here to the Your Clubhouse section, and I'm going to click the Manage tab. And actually, real quick, before I get into the sign-in system, I just want to show you other options that you have here under the Manage tab. So you can see here, just to the left of the name is just a little placeholder thumbnail. If you wanted to add a photo to your Clubhouse profile, this is where you would do it. You can click the photo button and you can upload a photo, and that'll replace this icon up here. But this is where you would update a Clubhouse description, any address changes should that happen. And then the rest of the settings here pertain to the sign in and sign out system. So think of the sign in system this way. Every Clubhouse exists within a silo. So it's not just one sign in system, it's a sign in system that is siloed for each Clubhouse. And every Clubhouse has their own unique link to the sign in system. So here on this page, it's showing us the login page specifically for the flagship Clubhouse sign-in system. And once I follow this link, you'll see it's going to be asking me for a password. So that password is set here. There is a default password that's already been set. So if you don't know what it is, if you click Show Password, it's going to show you what your password currently is, and then I would recommend that you update the password at that time. So you can type in a new password and click Save Changes. In addition, and this is something that I do not believe is set correctly for everybody's Clubhouse, is setting a time zone. So because we're going to be recording timestamps for clock in or for signing in and signing out, we want to make sure that the time zone is set correctly for each Clubhouse, and that is handled here in this last tab. And you have, if you click into it, you are going to see many options here. You're not only able to set a time zone based upon the nearest city, you're able to set, if you know the UTC offset, you're able to set it that way as well. But I just selected New York here because Boston is not on the list, but it's the same time zone as New York. So if you all can update the time zones on your Clubhouse profiles, that would be much appreciated. But for now, I know what the password is. I don't need to show it or change it. I'm going to go ahead and click this link. So here it's asking me for the password. Type it in. And then we are here in the sign-in system. It's very simple. There are only two tabs here, a sign-in tab and a sign-out tab. The way that somebody would sign in is you would just start typing their name. So I'm going to start typing the name of a flagship member, Parmis. And you can see just by starting to type a handful of letters, this has auto-populated with any names that match or are a partial match for what I typed. So you don't need to type somebody's complete name, just start typing, and then you're going to see the name there. Click the name, and it's going to confirm, sign in, and then just one more confirmation. Are you sure you want to sign that person in? I'm going to click OK. And we get successfully signed in notification. And if we go over to the sign out tab, we can see that Parmis is currently signed in. And once this person leaves the Clubhouse, let's go ahead and click sign out. And Parmis is signed out. So sign-in system is really that simple. You can set this up any way that you want in your Clubhouse. This is something that you could set up on a desktop computer, on a tablet, or a mobile phone. You can allow members to sign themselves in and out, or as coordinators or anyone else working in the space. You can do the signing in and the signing out for them. I'm not sure which way is more preferable for you. Everybody obviously needs a village account. So I think to effectively use this sign-in system, you would have to create village accounts for all of your members. And real quick, I can see there might be a few questions in the chat, but I just want to show you one more thing here before we jump into questions, and that's the report page. So you can see here there's a second link for the report page. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And it is the same password. So on this report page, this is going to show you all of the sign-ins and sign-outs just for the previous week. So this is like a quick reference for all of your signing in, signing out Clubhouse activity for the previous week. Names, in timestamps, out timestamps. And actually, I'm sorry, one more thing. So, and this is still a work in progress. So we need to build this out yet. But there is a section here, and it's in the left-hand sidebar. Towards the bottom, it's called Village Insights. So I'm going to go ahead and click that link. So this is going to be an area, as soon as we've built it out, where we're going to have much better reporting capability for the signing in and signing out data. This is where you will come to see any data, specific to your Clubhouse regarding the sign-ins and the sign-outs. So if you take a look there at the moment, you're just going to see what I'm seeing at the moment, which is showing general data for everybody in the system. It's going to take a little bit of time for us to shape this up, but we will get there, and we will have very nice reports for this data. All right, any questions about that? Let me get caught up on the chat here. Are you demonstrating how youth can sign into the village, or is this a Clubhouse attendance sign-in system? This youth can do exactly what I demonstrated here. So this, what you would do, remember you have to type in the password for the page to load. But you can set this up on a dedicated machine, type in the password, and then just leave that there. You can have it, near the door, and youth can sit down, type in their name, sign themselves in, and same when they're leaving. When they're leaving, they can go to the sign out tab, they can sign themselves out. Does that answer your question, Tamara?
Thank you.
Okay. So if a member forgets to sign out, does it automatically sign out after a certain amount of time? That is a great question. Yes. So if members are not signed out, then at the end of the day, and I believe it's at 11:59 p.m., at the end of the day, anybody who is still signed in will automatically be signed out. And yep, same question from Saul. Yes, logs out everybody at 11:59. And let's see.
Alfred
yes.
has his hand raised, and then Joe, that's okay?
Okay, sure. Yep. Alfred?
Yes, I wanted to ask a question in reference to the login, the sign-in that you just showed us.
Yeah.
It only shows the past week. So in other words, we don't have like 2 weeks, 3 weeks back. We only have 1 week.
Yes.
Did I hear you correct?
On that particular report page, yes, where we will have much more comprehensive data. It will show you all of the data in that last link that I showed you in the back end with the graphs. We will build out, we will build that out. That will show you all of your data. And Jill.
That was kind of my question too. Right now we
Hmm.
are using Google Forms, and we have a field so that if a kid or a member has a name that they want to be referred to as, other than the name that they were signed up as, it
Yeah.
shows they can actually fill that in as well. And we use our database monthly for our reports. So when do you need us to start using this? By when do we need to have all of our kids entered?
Well, it's this is completely optional. Your usage of the sign-in system is not mandatory. It's a feature that we're offering to all of you. We recognize that some host organizations are already handling this. They have their own software, so we certainly can't make everybody use it. But this is something that a lot of clubhouses have asked for, so it's something that is out there, and you are welcome to use it if you find it useful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions about that? Okay. Well, I will pass it back to Steph. Let's talk about, I think, Clubhouse integration.
Thank you. So yeah, so all of this is great, and we'd love to find ways to really kind of help each of you implement this and utilize this in your Clubhouse in a number of ways, right? So one of the first things so the fellows last year, the 2021 cohort, with Cherie, Galen, and Gustavo, worked on is kind of revamping these art cards. So you'll see them right up here. And we've added some new categories. So you'll see the familiar crafts, 3D design, but we added VR and some other stuff. So there's about 30 or so right now. Jason, feel free to click any of them. When you click one, it gives you like a quick instructional how to get started, right? This isn't meant to be like an all-knowing guide. It's really just kind of help you get started. And then there's some recommendations to how to like expand on that project. Jason has been also working on a form. We're not going to demo it today, but a form where we can actually get submissions from the Clubhouse community. So if you have an idea, for your youth members have an idea, it's just like a quick form with the same fields that were listed in these individual ones. Jason, if you can just open one more Spark card. So it'll be like this. So it's basically the form will be like, what's the name, what materials are needed, and in like 3 to 5 steps, how do we do this? And then they'll get their project credit. And they can even recommend ways to kind of take it further and submit a photo. So those won't get like automatically posted. I think from my understanding, I think there might be like a wall so we can review them, and then they'll be shared. So the current cohort of tech fellows is going to keep kind of coming out with some of these over the next like 8 months. So just keep refreshing it, and you'll see some more ideas. And Jason had referred to this earlier, the portfolios. So this is a way for youth to take what it is that they've been working on and put in the Clubhouse Village and kind of have it all live in one place that they can share externally. This is really, really good for any youth that are going to be going into higher education and want to do that, or want to do some freelance work and want to share their work, so they can host their projects and their portfolio without having to kind of pay a fee for that, like some of the other hosting platforms.
Real quick, Steph, I just wanted to jump in to let people know how they add projects to their public portfolio.
Yep.
So real quick, I'm gonna go back into my project. So this is a project that I posted with this account. So let's say I wanted to add this project to my public portfolio. I'm gonna go ahead and edit my project. And then I'm gonna scroll down to project settings. And there's a visibility option here. And you're gonna also see this when you initially create your project. You're gonna have to make a selection here. So you can see you have three options. You can either put it into draft mode, which means the project is only visible to you. So if a project is currently in progress, not ready to publish, you can keep it in draft mode until it's ready. Publish, so this is how you would make a project live and visible within the village. And then the third option is external, and that means that the project is visible both within the Clubhouse Village as well as externally in my public portfolio. So I'm going to select that last option here for this project. I'm going to save it. And let me close it. I'm going to go into my portfolio here on the left-hand side. And we can see that that project is now listed here in this public portfolio. And we've got one question here. How long will public portfolios be available? They are available indefinitely.
And Jason, we actually have a secondary question of what does it mean to be a verified project?
To be a verified project, that is a good question. Verified projects, and let me just make sure that I know where we're at. Okay, so a verified project is just projects are denoted as being verified, or they can be sorted and searched within the village. So this icon that's here in the upper right hand corner, the little badge with the check mark, is the verified badge. And I'm not sure if anything is verified here. There might be, but let's see. I'm going to select that filter. Okay, and we can see that there are a handful of projects here that are verified. So it's just an additional way to promote a project within the village. That's all that verifying a project means.
Thank you, Jason. And when it comes to the portfolio, will youth need to update their projects weekly, monthly? I would say as often as they'd like, right? There's no requirement to have them update the portfolio every week or every month. I like to see the portfolio as like a curated piece in itself, right? You don't have to put everything, but maybe your best work. And you can always replace and change things in the portfolio. There's a few different levels of visibility also in working with it. So you can have it as a draft, so only visible to the person creating it. It can be published within just the Clubhouse Village. Maybe you want to get some feedback on it before putting it out. And then there's external sharing. So this is when you would want to use it for like applications and other kind of job opportunities in that way. Projects shown on the public portfolio, they'll have their own individualized URL. I don't have an example of that, but I believe it's just the clubhousevillage.org/their username /my-portfolio/their username.
Let me I can show where that's at. So if you click on my portfolio and you take a look at the address bar within your browser, that is the URL for your public portfolio. And if I take that URL and I go into an incognito window, for example, where I'm not logged into the village, we can see that URL is accessible. The fact that the project is not showing up here is potentially a bug. So I'm going to make a quick note of that for the developers.
Yeah, which kind of brings it, if you come across anything that's like kind of odd or kind of unusual or maybe off or maybe not working in a way that you might think it's supposed to be working, definitely drop us a line. It's going to be a work in progress for a while. But in the public portfolio, you can see that it also shows the achievement badges. You know, right now the ones we have are pretty like standard ones: early adopter, reach winner, C2C pathways graduate, team summit attendee. But you know, here I think just network staff can create new ones. But definitely send us your ideas, and we'd be happy to make and customize any badges that see fit. We'd also recommend making either the just the Clubhouse Village or maybe even the portfolio, but probably just the Clubhouse Village as like the homepage or the background to some of the computers in your space. Doesn't have to, you know, doesn't have to be every single one. It'd be great to kind of get you to at least ask some questions about what it is, and if it's the portfolio page, you can kind of see like the new works coming in and change those out regularly if you'd like. Member projects downloadable after uploading. Do you mean like downloadable from the portfolio or just Jason? Can you answer that?
Yeah, if you're wondering whether the original media is capable of being downloaded, that's a good question. I actually don't know off the top of my head whether there's an easy way to do that, like click this button to download all of your projects. I know that in the case of images, you can certainly come in here and you can save the image. I don't know if that's going to be in the original resolution. So that is a very good question. I'm going to make a note of that, and I will follow up with you after this webinar.
Yeah, and from what I know about digital photography, I can guarantee you that it will be at a lesser resolution. You know, when you're uploading like the videos and things like that, those do have to be on a hosted somewhere. So it could be like a closed YouTube channel or whatever it may be. So I would say that the quality is best kept there. You know, when I tried to pull like something from my own portfolio, I was able to drag and drop the image on my screen, but it's still, you know, it still isn't like a collect all and download. Any other questions? I know we're running on our last few minutes, so if there's anything, any burning questions, please jump in.
And I just want to add a few final notes. You know, as Steph said, you know, we're constantly working on this. This is going to be a never-ending work in progress. And we've, you know, recognizing too that we've just launched this week. We've done everything we could to shape the site up and deal with any bugs. But we're not, you know, under any illusions that we've caught everything. So I'm sure that we're going to continue to uncover bugs. We rely upon all of you for continued recommendations for ways that we can improve this. The easiest way to provide feedback to us is, let me show you on the left-hand sidebar. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. And the very last option down here is Village Feedback. And if you click that feedback link, you'll be taken to a page where you can fill in a form. And if you fill in this form and send it to us, that'll be sent both to myself, a handful of staff at TCN, as well as the developers that we're working with. You know, this first option, if you're reporting a bug, something that appears to be broken, you would select that first option, bug report. But if you have something that's just general feedback or just ideas for ways that we can improve the site, you would select general feedback. All right, so about 5 minutes left then. Any questions about anything at all? Or any feedback? Any concerns? Yes, can you change the background from black to white? Thank you, Gail. So that's one thing we did not go over here. So also in the left-hand sidebar, all the way at the bottom, almost all the way at the bottom, just to the right of the log out button, there's a little switch here. And you can see it's a little crescent. So it's showing you a little crescent moon to let you know that we're in dark mode right now. And dark mode is the default visual mode of the Clubhouse Village. But if you click this toggle switch, it's going to switch you over to light mode. So whichever way you prefer to see the village, in light or dark mode. We've got a hand up, Jill.
Yes. Is there an ability to do a mass upload, like put all the students or members in a spreadsheet and load the spreadsheet? Or is this going to be one at a time?
Yeah, that is a very good question. We thought originally that we would have an ability to bulk create member accounts by uploading a spreadsheet, but that's not something that we're able to offer, unfortunately. So I know it's going to be a little bit tedious, but member accounts do have to be created one at a time. I can tell you because I created all of the staff accounts in the previous week, which numbered in the several hundreds, that once you start doing it, it does become a lot easier and it does get a lot quicker. But I do apologize about that. They do have to be created one at a time. Anything else? All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up here then. I want to thank you all so much for joining this webinar. Another quick note is, so I'll be uploading this recording to Clubhouse Connect. You can always refer to it at a later date. But also here on the left-hand sidebar, one more option for you is Village Tutorials. So if you click on Village Tutorials, you're going to see I've created 4 videos so far running through basic functions like adding users, the sign-in system, editing user profile, and handling flag content. I'm sure we're going to be making more videos over time. So this page is also a resource for you if there's anything that you forget or need clarity on. And you can always reach out to us by email, either directly, or we have an email address that is specially set up for Village support. I'm going to go ahead and put that into the chat right now, but it is help@clubhousevillage.org. So with that, thank you again, everybody. And we're really looking forward to making this a valuable asset for the network, for our members. So thank you all, and we'll see you on the Village.
Thank you, everyone.